What is up, people? What is up, people? What is up, people? It is your boy MM2K finally here with what's going to be our Starfield stream. This stream is like 4 days in the making. And I thought it would be important for me to talk to you guys about why it was delayed, because I feel like many gamers are running into this experience. Many of them have ran and done what I've done in order to solve it. I really didn't want to do it because I didn't want to rely on this aspect of it at launch. But I have to say this, and I don't mean this in any slight. I'm very excited to jump into this game and play it. I'm not someone that hates the game because it's, you know, Bethesda's been bought by Xbox, but I'm also someone that didn't overhype it. I think I'm in a good spot to where I know how Bethesda games work. I know what Bethesda is capable of, and my expectations are nothing more, nothing less. Hopefully we get more. If we get more, that's great. If we get something less, that would be a shame. From all accounts, that's what we got. We got a great game from Bethesda. It's the score's like 86, 88 Metacritic. Everybody, even for the most part, from what I'm seeing, everybody is genuinely enjoying the game. So that's good. I hope to do the same. Yo, Ron Slushy says, I'm excited to see the greatest game of our generation. I mean, cheat codes. Oh, wow. The Starfield, I'm reading Starfield. Let me see. I'm trying to find. I forgot what I was trying to. Oh yeah, I wanted to retweet this out, let everybody know that we were live. Yeah, so wanted to give everybody the pitfalls of the stuff that I experienced, because if you're playing on PC, if you were one of the people that were like me and was like, I'm not playing this at 30 frames a second. Someone like myself who cannot. I cannot play at 30 frames per second. I really can't tolerate. I notice anything under like 45. Like if it dips down to like a 42 here and there, that's not a game breaker. But if something keeps consistently stays under 45, I can't play it. That's what my eyes notice. I know different people will argue it's not that big of a deal and all this other stuff. I could care less what you feel or what you think. I don't have your eyeballs lodged in my head. I know what I see, and what I see induces headaches, all types of problems for me. I can't game at 30 frames per second anymore. There have been rare exceptions on like a few PlayStation games, because I don't know what they do. It's like a flat 30, and there's like this motion blur to where it really, I guess the design of the game and the filter or the renderer of the game fits with 30, if that makes sense. Like they have very detailed stuff going on, but there's not like super sharp edges and things like that. So it's like everything's like real smooth, right? Where the aliasing is perfect or what. I can't explain it, but there's something about the PlayStation games like Last of Us 2, and there was something else that they had. I think, was it Ghost of Tsushima? God of War. Yeah, God of War at 30 frames per second was not. It wasn't like ultra sharp. There was like this blur over it. Whatever. That's not here. Well, I lied. It's not here. It's not here as part of the package. But of course, you know, there's mods. And I'm being introduced to the world of mods again, and there are a lot of fantastic mods out there to where maybe you can put that aesthetic over Starfield, but it's not available on console. So you might as well just play it at 60 frames per second if you can get it. So I've had a series of problems playing it. Admittedly, a lot of those problems were mine, but most deep-rooted problems were because of this game, where I couldn't even start. And I say this for anybody that has like an intricate rig setup. Be very careful going into this game. I'm going to tell you everything that I've had to go through in order to play this game, and I'm going to be honest with you. It agitates me, and it is going to skew my score, because I'm like, okay, you don't have 60 frames per second on console. I would have rather just got a console, play it at 60 frames per second there, even if it's 1080p 60, fine. You know, 1080p 60 upscaled on the Series X isn't the end of the world. I played on Stadia, for crying out loud. It's not a problem. Played on Stadia and enjoyed it. But they didn't reach that benchmark there. So I'm forced to play on PC. They didn't release day and date on the NVIDIA GeForce Now, which would have been great. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that I would have been able to get 4K 60, because in looking at some of the things that I'm looking at, this thing is pretty demanding and very poorly optimized. But I could have probably got 1440p 60 at Ultra. I would have been happy with that. That's not, they didn't launch this on the NVIDIA GeForce Now day and date, so that's not happening. So I was forced to play this natively with a 3070 card. Now, I was told that, and again, I was told by Xbox zealots, I hate to throw off these names, but I don't want you, the reason why I'm doing this is because there's a lot of people that have an agenda. There are people that have an agenda that want to see this game do bad, and I'm not quoting, I'm not using them as an official source, nor am I going to use the people that just want to see the Xbox brand do good no matter what. I've had those type of people where I've talked to them behind the scenes and thinking they would just let go of the fluff, and they couldn't. Oh, you're going to get, I'm from my inside sources, you're going to be able to do 1440p 60 no problem with a 3070. That's baloney. That is actually baloney. And it's not even my CPU that's the main problem, because my CPU usage when I'm playing the game, as you guys will see, will go up to like 48%. It's the GPU. Like, the GPU usage is getting destroyed. So it's like 99%. So we're gonna talk about everything that I went through, because I feel like a lot of people's gonna have similar setups. If you have like RTX cards and stuff like that, like you probably have an elaborate setup, especially if you're a streamer like myself. You're not just sitting there with some rinky-dink, you know what I'm saying, a Microsoft keyboard that, you know, you got RGB lights and everything, you know, kind of like what I got, multiple monitors. You're going to have to X-nay all that, man. You have to get rid of all that. So let's break down what happened. But before I get into that, let's just talk to a couple people in the chat. Oh, and by the way, like, I could have played this game and streamed it like yesterday. Like, I got around the technical issues that forbidded me from doing that yesterday. But because of some of the more asinine setup with the game, and the asinine limitations with the game, and when I'm saying game, none of this is gameplay. This is even before we get to gameplay. Because of the asinine setup and limitations of the game setup, installation, and getting it to play properly, I have to use 3 machines. I have to use one machine, one computer, to play the game. I have to use another machine to stream the game, and then I got to use a third machine to even see what you're saying on YouTube. That's how poorly optimized this is. There's no way any of those functions can be run on the same machine. And I would understand that for 4K 60. I would even understand that for 4K 30. But I'm playing this game at 1440p at medium low settings, and I still can't do that. And I'm still not getting a flat 60 frames per second. You'll see. You'll see when we bring the game up. As a matter of fact, you could probably see it in the low right-hand corner. That's the game right there. It says 60 right there because we're at the menu screen. When I start playing, you're going to see it drop and hover between 50 and 60 frames, which is fine. I can deal with that. I just can't deal with under 45. All right. But let's talk to the chat. Andrew Wilkins says, I know the pic of that Asian dude on the thumbnail ain't you. You sound like you look like Jake Malone. I have no idea who Jake Malone is. No, that's not me. That's just one of my random Adobe pics. Geek to Sneak, is this live or no? Oh man, this dude. Man, get out. Hey, Geek, come on, man. Stop with this. Is this live? Ron Slusher says Far Cry 6 on Stadia was a smooth 30 frames per second. I guess it was. I don't know. I don't play games at 30, man. I can't. No. Y'all know me. Even in my Stadia, excitement days, if a game was capped at 30 frames per second, it was trash. Infamously, me and Project Storm were playing Serious Sam, which was supposed to be, not a big exclusive globally, but a big get for something as small as Stadia. It's a Twitch shooter. I love the series. Played it with my brother. He introduced me to it. So I'm like, dang, playing this at 60 frames per second is going to be a dream. And it was locked at 30. Like, no, we're not playing a Twitch shooter at 30 frames per second. Me and Storm infamously live on air refunded our games. I don't do that. I don't do that brand loyalty stuff. I will vigorously defend anything where I feel like people are lying. I'll even vigorously defend it to the point to where I'm not even really a fan of it. It's just like you're doing too much, and I feel like I gotta intervene. That's what I did with Fallout 76. I felt like it's funny we're talking about Bethesda. I used to be a self-proclaimed Bethesda fanboy. I've played every single Fallout 1 and 2. I think it was Oblivion that had it, when it was the top-down asymmetric games. I beat those. Then when Bethesda took over, fell in love with it even more, became big fans of Bethesda with Fallout 3 is really my breakthrough game with them. I really wasn't into Oblivion. And I think they had another game before that. But Fallout 3 was my breakthrough game. Then Skyrim. Oh, man. But then after Skyrim, kind of was because Fallout 4, a prettier version of Fallout 3, bigger version of Fallout 3, the decisions that were in the game, the choices that you made and the end results did not make sense to me. And that annoys the hell out of me when it comes to an RPG. Like, when you're doing an RPG, you're looking to do a certain track. You're looking to head down a certain path. There are going to be some elements of, some surprise. Oh my goodness! But you're catering your character to pretty much have this certain slice. No. What the hell happened? Are we still live? What happened? Hold on. Are we gonna do this? Are we gonna be going through this really? Why is this happening? Hold on 1 second. Something really weird is happening. Let me go. Okay. All right. Sorry about that, y'all. Something weird just happened. Very weird. Okay, can you guys still see the Starfield screen in the back? Because I can't see anything. Extremely weird. Okay. Whatever. It just all of a sudden it said, do you want to end the stream? Like, what? What the hell are you talking about? All right. So anyway, if you guys can still see me and hear me, let me know in the chat. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. Anywho, yeah. So I vigorously defended Fallout 76. Fallout 4, I remember, had this element to it, to where the decisions weren't following a certain track and weren't making sense. So then I was like, you know what? I'm done with it. And then something similar, that was a similar experience to New Vegas. I got to a certain point in New Vegas. That's why I'm not big fans of New Vegas and what's it called? But 76 did the same thing too. And I didn't even think 76 was that great of a game. I out of all of them, I thought 76, you know, was the least appealing, but I thought it was like a 7.5, but people were giving it 5s. That was the thing to do. So yeah, I'll vigorously defend something even if it's not ultra popular. If you're doing too much, then you're gonna hear from me, right? That's just how I roll. All right, I don't know what's going on. Something is going on to where I can't see the screen, but as long as y'all can see it, then that's fine. So to fast forward to where I'm at now, I paid about $20 because I had like $15 in Microsoft point credit just sitting there. I never even realized I had it. So I paid $20 to get the upgraded edition of Starfield, right? And that was Friday, right? I think, yeah, Friday. Since Friday, I have like an hour and 58 minutes in the game, and only 15 minutes of that is actual gameplay. The other hour and 45 minutes just about is me tweaking the game. I'm gonna leave my other stream up. You'll see the problems I was running into and the fact that I had to end the game. I tried a subsequent stream, I think the day before yesterday. That didn't work out. And I'm going to tell you guys what the problems were. So here are the problems that are my fault. Let's go over the problems that are my fault. One of the problems that are my fault, or that is my fault, is I have an external graphics or external capture card. And what I did to give that external capture card more power in its capture process is I put it in another PC, in another rig. This is not, I mean, this rig right here, a lot of people could use. You could play some games on it, but I really didn't design this PC for atypical PC usage. I aligned everything in this PC to be a powerhouse for video capture. That's why that's how I'm able to do my quality stream series. If you look on this channel, you'll see some of the videos where everything is like super fine rendered, and it takes me, and I get so much bit rate passing through that it takes it 4 days to render on YouTube. It's but I'm able to do it because the secondary machine that has my internal capture card is not in the same computer where I game. The reason why I do that is because I know that I don't have the strongest PC. My gaming PC is significantly stronger than this capture rig, but still it's not like a 4090 with a 12th generation i9. It's nothing like that. And even if it was like that, it's just better for me or I think just better in general, to have this external capture card, or internal, capture card sitting in another rig. my results have always been better. But the way, again, the way that the even the version of Windows, everything that's in this rig that has this capture card in it is designed to just be a powerhouse for the capture card and the GPU in it. So what I do is, from my main computer, my 3070 computer, I feed into this capture rig, and then from the capture rig it'll stream. So it just has basic unfuddled internet access. It has, you know, streaming software in it, capture software in it, and that's it. And there's just a bunch of configurations set to give it some of the best capturing that you can get, right? I don't use that rig to even going on the internet on that rig is going to be bogged, because I got everything high strung for the capture. So because Starfield is so crappy on resources, I will take it for this one. Where the device where I'm doing the capture at is not made for me to be on the internet as well while I'm capturing. So that's why when you were looking at my stream a couple days ago, it just kept buffering and juddering and you really didn't see anything, because I was trying to read the internet from that capture rig, and I am not messing with the settings in that capture rig, not at all. What else is my fault? Well, I had to get mods in there because I had to break, because I don't like day one mods. I just don't like them. They're experimental. I don't know these people. These people don't work for Bethesda. They have no incentive. If something goes wrong, they have no incentive to fix it. These are people just doing trial and error. I don't want to put that stuff in my computer. And particularly if I need a mod to play something regularly, day one, there's something fundamentally wrong with your game. There's something fundamentally wrong with your game if I have to add a mod to it in order to play it, right? So I was avoiding the mod method altogether. But then I realized by day like 3, after I paid my $20 to upgrade it, only got 15 minutes of gameplay, I needed to do something. So I went and started downloading the mods, and I came across, and I got it okay, but the mods didn't work as I anticipated. But that's part of the game's problem. I'm not going to get into that yet. The last thing that's my problem is I do have an intricate setup. So from my main computer, I have 3 monitors running, right? Really 4. I have 3 monitors, actual monitors, and I have a virtual monitor. What do I mean by that? The virtual monitor stands as the screenshot of whatever's playing and being sent to my capture card. So the actual 3070 in my machine has to, crank up a little bit more juice in order to render images for screens when I'm capturing, right? Normally what I do is I'll shut off 2 of those screens because I don't need them, and I can, do stuff. I'll just need like 1 screen, 1 physical screen on my main PC, the virtual screen, and then the other screen on my capture rig, right? That's all I need. So I'll shut off 2 of them just to give the GPU a rest. And normally, even with some of the most intense games, even Cyberpunk, it's not a problem. I can run Internet Explorer, not Internet Explorer, but what is that? Microsoft Explorer, the Chrome version, which is very low on resources. I can run that you know, very lightly in the background as an administrator, and usually operate the chat from that same machine. And I'll just throw that chat, I'll throw the chat on the second monitor. The game will be playing on a virtual monitor, which is feeding to my capture machine. I've Ghost Recon Breakpoint, you name it. It doesn't bog down resources significantly at all. At most, it may cost me a frame or two. You know what I'm saying? To do that. But that way I can see the chat. Cannot do it at all on Starfield. But again, because that was my setup, it was eating away at the GPU's resources, and the GPU is already at 99%, and I was lucky to get like 38 frames per second at 1440p. 4K was a joke. And it didn't matter if it was high, low, it didn't even matter. Maybe if I turned everything to low, I was getting an extra frame or two. This is how poorly optimized this is. It didn't matter. But again, that was me. That was me because of my elaborate setup and the way that I had things set up. This is the part that really got me pissed, and the part to where I really say, now I'm going to really scrutinize this game, because if I got to go through all, never in my 35 plus years of gaming, and I want to say good 20 years plus of gaming on PC, have I ever gone through anything like this. This better be the game of the generation if I'm going through this. It's going to lose points if it doesn't. Just for, you know, I've been going through the gambit of saying, don't judge the game by that. Don't judge the game by that. No, not only did Xbox say that, which I was willing to ignore, but now the game itself actually says to you, if you're playing it on PC, you want to play this in a ninth generation way, 60 frames per second, 1440p, you want to play it that way, guess what? F you to all of your resources, F you to everything that you have set up. Nothing else matters but this game. And the fact that Cyberpunk 2077 Overdrive mode does not treat my machine like that is a testament to how ridiculous this is. That we're dealing with this in 2023. Now I'm going to segue to what is the game's problem. The game's number one problem is not having DLSS. That's the game's number one problem. It's so poorly optimized that FSR2 does nothing. It truly does nothing. You might get, I turn FSR2 off, I got 8 frames. That's a joke. But with DLSS 3 on a 3070 card without reflex technology, I'm getting maybe anywhere between 15 to 20 additional frames from with no, thingy at all. So I'm getting 8 with FSR2, about 20 with DLSS 3 on. That's without frame generation. If I had frame generation, I'd be hitting 60. I'd probably be hitting 60 at 4K. But you got to have a 40 series card in order to do that. I got a 30 series card. But that is the crux of the problem. And I didn't really, I'm not, I may specialize in configuring and I gumshoe my way through this stuff. A lot of this stuff I'm not a walking expert in. I know how to put a computer together. I know about elaborate parts here and there. When you start getting into the gigawatts and bibahertz talk about the internal guts of each of these parts, that's where you lose me. But I get the basic configuration and understanding of what's going on with the software and the hardware to where I can put PCs together. I can do, various configurations. But when you start getting into and I do coding, so I understand some of the coding, but when you start getting into the elaborate compute units and stuff that's where you lose me, right? But what I do know is that if you partner with somebody and the overwhelming majority of computer parts are not going to be 40 series, they're going to be 20 and 30 series. you better have a way out of the gate to play. You better have a way out of the gate. You and your partnership with AMD better find a way to give a solid 1440p even at low or medium settings. Because I'm going to be honest with you, which leads me to part 2. Opposite of low and high, even on PC, there's not much of a substantial visual difference between how the game looks. There really isn't. I've never, on a AAA game, I've never seen the difference be so empty between low and high. Now, there is an ultra setting, and gosh, I don't know what you got to have in there for ultra. Maybe ultra is, but for high and low to low, it's nothing. Just about, like maybe some lighting, some contrasting, some alien, just a little bit. It's not that big of a difference. So playing on low, you're not losing anything because the game just is not. It's not that visually intense. And another thing that you can do is these mods, you can get some of these refresh shaders. You can get a refresh shader, put it on, and shut off the effect in the game and put it on a refresh shader and save you some frames. Yeah, that is another problem with the game. And because it does not have DLSS and it has FSR, that's where I ran into my biggest problem, which was not being able to stream. Not being able to play and, run an extra monitor. Like, I literally have to shut off every monitor except my virtual monitor. Never had to do that. Again, I would have the game, if I'm doing a capture, I would have the game running on my virtual monitor, and then I would have the game, and then I would have like the chat running on my actual monitor. Can't do that with FSR 2. Why? Because FSR 2, in order, I guess, to get the extra 8 frames or whatever, they have to enact something that I can't remember ever seeing again in a computer game in the 24 years that I've been, doing heavy gaming on the PC for AAA games, is there is not a borderless full screen. Like, you can't go into full screen borderless or in a window fashion. Normally what you can do is in the setting in the game, you can set the game to 1440p and say, I don't want a window, and then just stretch it out, right? And it'll upscale or whatever it does on its own. But no, what I had to do, because there was no borderless window option, which again, without the borderless window option, I can't switch back and forth. I would have to start Chrome or whatever I'm using for YouTube. I would have to start that first and then start the game, which would heavily drop the frames. The trick goes, you start the game first, then in a minimized window, you open up said program, and that holds a lot of resources where you're only losing a frame. But those 8 measly frames I'm getting from FSR 2, I would lose those and some, because I gotta open up Chrome first, because there's no other way to do. You can't, once you're playing the game, the only other way to open up another application is to shut off the game. So I wouldn't be able to, check out the chat and all the others. I wouldn't be able to do that. I would have to open up Chrome first, which again, while the game is trying to load up and all the other stuff, those frames are lost, right? And again, everybody that does that knows the secret is start the game, open up whatever program that you're trying to open up in a minimized window, set it wherever you're going to set it, and then move from there. Can't do that. because of the lack of borderless windows. All right. So that's why I got to use 3 devices. So that's where we're at. There's so many other things too. I can't. That honestly, I'm exhausted right now. I don't even want to get into, but I want to get into the do's and don'ts, because let's play this game. Let's see what this game is about. Let's play it. I want to get into the do's and don'ts of the game, but before I do that, let's check out the chat again. It says, "Yo, what's up, my people? What's up, Mr. Reaver the Beaver?" Geek the Sneak says, "Hey, BG." He says, "Was released from prison today." Oh, he was? Oh, okay. Dang, he was in prison for a long time. All right. So let's do this. Let's go to the setting, and I can show you what I was talking about. All right. So now I've added a mod. Well, I'm not going to show you that part yet. Let me show you this first. See, I couldn't do this before at a minimized fashion. So here is Nexus Mod. Okay. And let me know if you guys can see that in the chat. Let me know if you can see this web page in the chat, because I can't see what you guys can see. For some reason, it's not showing me what you guys are seeing. For some god awful reason, I can't see it. But if you guys can see in the chat this web page, let me know. If not, then we'll try to figure out something else. With that being said, this is Nexus Mod. So this is what I'm using to give me 50 to 60 frames at 1440p. So what you have to do is, if you have this game, you have to go to Nexus Mod, and in order for you to download from Nexus Mod, you got to have an account with them. It's free. You know, they don't make you pay for an account. And the mod that you want is called Starfield Frame Generation, replacing FSR2 with DLSSG. I'm going to quickly run through and show you guys how this is working. But again, if someone in the chat can just let me know if you guys can see what I'm showing you on the screen, just let me know. All right, so what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to the files that are here under Nexus Mod. You can go to Nexus Mods at nexusmods.com. All right, go to the files, and then when you go to the files, there'll be 2 versions. If you have the Steam version, do a manual download for the Steam version. It says Mod Manager download. I don't know. I guess there's some type of program you can get if you have the premium version of Nexus Mod, where it'll place everything that you need in the files where you need it. All right. So then, you download, whether you got the Steam version or you got the Xbox or Microsoft Store version. Okay, for the sake of this, because I'm going to show you the most complicated way. If you have the Microsoft Store version, you're going to go to manual download, right? And then they're going to tell you that you need these 2 files, DLSS DLL, and DLSSG DLL. So what you do is you're going to open these 2 files. I'm just going to show you. I just right-clicked and open a new tab in one. And the latest version of the DLSS file is 3.5. I downloaded it somewhere, just left it sitting. And then, you can go back and do the same thing with this one, with that DLSSG. You download. Oh, hold on. I guess I right-clicked on wrong one. Did I? Thought I right-clicked on G. Oh, no. Okay. Oh, this is the frame generation DLL. All All right. So if you have a 40 series card and you want to use frame generation, then use this. All right. So you'll download both of those files and you'll put them somewhere, right? And then what you'll do is then you'll go back to Nexus Mod and you'll download this frame generation file, replacing FSR2 file, and you'll put that somewhere. You're going to extract all those files, right? I would show you where I'm putting them, but I don't, I know there's weirdos out there. I don't want nobody hacking my computer. You extract all those files in that folder, and then in the frame generation replacing FSR2 folder, there is a subfolder called Streamline. In that Streamline subfolder, you're going to put these two files, these two DLSS files in there. Then what you have to do is you have to find the folder that has your game in it. For the sake, it's easier to find on Steam. You can like right click on the game and go to directory and it'll, pop up, and then you could just right click and paste everything there. You're going to paste that whole FSR, this whole mod folder. Once you download this, so there's three things to download. This file right here, which is the main mod, and then you're going to download the two DLSS things that I showed you. These two DLSS files, DLL files. And then again, within this, there's going to be a folder within this main mod. There's going to be a folder. You open the folder, and then you're going to see a subfolder that's called Streamline. In that Streamline folder, that's where you're going to put those two DLSS files in the Streamline folder. Once you do that, you copy the whole folder, everything in there, including that subfolder that says Streamline, and then you're going to go to the file that has Starfield in it. When you find the file, it'll first say Starfield, and then you'll see content. You're going to open up that content folder, and then you'll see Starfield something player, depending upon whether it's Steam or whatever, you'll see the execute file. Just in that file where you see the execute file, that's where you'll paste everything. That's where you're going to paste this Starfield frame generation replacing FSR2 with DLSS2, that subfolder that's in there, and that subfolder containing those two DLSS files. That's where you're going to put everything in there. Once you put everything in there, there's one more thing that you're going to want to do. There's this thing called there's this thing called reshade. It's right here in the instructions. If you go to Nexus Mod, everything that I'm telling you is there too. It gives you step-by-step instructions as well. But you'll go to the Reshade website, right? This is the cool part as well. You download Reshade, you select the game that you want it applied to, and if you're like me, where you had to go and it doesn't recognize Starfield because it's part of the Xbox store, they tell you here that the file that you want to look for is a file called GameLaunchHelper.exe. So again, you're going to go, So again, you're going to go to C, Windows, Xbox games, Starfield, content data, and then you're going to find that GameLauncher.exe, and that's where you're going to set the path for this thing. Because after you download it and run it, it's going to ask you what game. When you type in Starfield, it's going to say, hold on, I don't see a Starfield on your computer. And then that's when you got to direct the path, and that's where you're directing it to. Again, for me, it's C, I think it's C, users, Xbox games, Starfield and that with that title, game launcher helper.exe. Download that. I'm going to show you what happens now once you download that. Once you download that and you get that set up, the first time that you boot up Starfield, this is going to happen. This is going to pop up. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What's going on? Okay, there it goes. Whew. All right. That's going to pop up. This right here is the different shader sets that you're going to want to do. I picked AMD Fidelity FX Control, and I think I picked one more. Oh no, that's it. You can play around with these different shaders. Just check them off and check them on. There's a lot of cool stuff, like just film grain you can add. Hold up, there's cartoon aesthetic you can add. Border, you can add a border to it. Look at that, that's cool. If you want to play like that, I think that's dope. Bloom, you can set bloom real high. There was another one that just looked crazy. There's a bunch of crazy looking ones in there too. Nostalgia. Okay, look at that one. So there's a bunch of different like shaders and stuff that you can add on here. You can add fake HDR if you want to. That's why I said, like, you can add a bunch of stuff to it and just take the option out of the game, and it's not even, you know, so cumbersome. All right, so once you do that and you select which shader you want, you hit the home button to get out, and then you go play the game. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to close this so you can see me get my flat 50 frames per second. Make sure I got no other files open. Nope. We're going to continue the game, and as you can see, I got 2 hours and 51 minutes, and I haven't done anything in the game but for 15 minutes. So in the lower left-hand corner, you guys and gals should be able to see my frames and my FPS, and as you can see,
need some coffee or something.
It's best to wait like... It's a damn shame you got to do this. It's best to wait like 10 seconds before you start moving. And then, look, it's keeping like between 50 and 60. I'm okay with that. That's fine with me. That's honestly the best I'm going to get right now, even with DLSS 3. That's how poorly optimized this is. If I had frame generation, it would be a lot better. But I don't. So I'm, you know. Now, I haven't been in... This is the farthest I got. So if anybody knows about this game, there's like a beginning part that's like literally 5 minutes. Something happens, and then you're brought here on... This is the ship. So I've literally played the game for 15 minutes. And that's all I got to because it was so much staggering and bull crap. So that's where we're at. That's me venting. I'm going to play the... I'm going to get the game started. Like... Let me do this. If it'll let me do it. I'm gonna start the it'll let me do it. Doesn't look like it wants to let me. Oh crap. Come on, what is it doing? Oh. Come on, computer. Come on, computer. You can do it. Oh, dear Lord. Panel. Give me a second. I got to get back to the settings because Chromebook was cutting up. Okay, we're going to go back to create. I'll go live. And now what I'm going to do is we're going to, you know, hopefully we can get a good hour in of Starfield. Let me just check my messages and make sure no one's tried to hit me up because I got stuff to handle later on today. Oh, nobody's hitting me up. All right. So I'm live here. Okay. Let's go here. Let's change some things here. Let's edit it. We're going to say we're going to go live at 7:30. All right, come on. Live at 7. Come on. Say 7:30. And we're going to make that public. And then now it's done. And we're going to save it. All right, so all right, it's not going to go back. You want to go back? Okay, there we go. All right, so that explains everything that I've had to go through with Starfield. I don't see any comments or anything. Maybe it's because there's something up with my, what's it called, once again. But let's get right into some Starfield. So I'm going, so here, oh yeah, here's what I want to do. This is going to be the live stream. Oh, what the hell? So this is going to be the live stream now of the actual game. You're gonna get to see. Okay, what the hell happened? Why? Why isn't it? I copied it. Come on, man. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. Damn it. Copy video link. Okay. It was copied. So what the hell happened? Go back here. Live stream. Maybe you guys just aren't commenting, but I find that strange. Okay, so that's the live stream. About 5 minutes. We are going to be there. So, and I'm pinning that as well. So join us there. Give me about 5 minutes. I'm gonna end this now. And I will see you guys and gals there. We're gonna be playing some Starfield. Finally. Hopefully you guys are seeing everything. All right. Until next time, in 5 minutes. Have a wonderful gaming day. Peace.